Hi, I'm Marissa Lonick, host of the Mama Work It podcast, the show for working moms juggling mom life, work life, fill in the blank life. Each week, we talk real motherhood, real careers, and real strategies to help you thrive, not just survive the season you're in. If you're managing meetings, meltdowns, and big goals, this podcast was made for you. Tune in wherever you catch your podcasts.
If you don't nourish your nervous system and get your nervous system to a regulated state, your body will not be able to let go of some of that weight it's hanging on to until it feels safe and regulated. What do we do instead when we get upset about weight gain? We punish ourselves. More cardio, more workouts, less food, strict diets, stress about eating windows and when I can eat here and measuring macros and all of those things. We add all of that onto an already stressed system. And then we wonder why it doesn't work. And then we get more stressed and more mad at ourselves. I'm Jessica Valant. I'm a physical therapist, women's health expert, and Pilates teacher, and my goal is to help all women feel strong, safe, and secure in their bodies. In this podcast, I'll share expert advice, facts, amazing guests, stories, compassion, and hope to help you meet your body in all seasons of life. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Meet Your Body. Today, we are talking about a really important subject. And I know I say that about almost everything we talk about here because they're all really important subjects. This one I am holding very, very carefully in my hands, and I want to honor this subject. So when I say it's important, I mean that. And I also mean I am coming at it with a lot of thought, with a lot of intention, and with a lot of purpose. So I'm holding this concept, I'm holding the subject very, very carefully and with a lot of respect today. We are talking about weight loss and specifically weight loss as we age as women. Now, first, I want to say that this may be a subject that you just need to pass on. It might be something that you either don't need, you don't have an interest in, or possibly you have a history with weight loss, with eating, with a scale. That means it is not the best place for you to be to hear me talk about this today. And I am honoring that as well. So if you just need to pass on this episode, go right ahead and you can go listen to some of our older episodes or come back to future episodes. I completely understand. And let me tell you kind of where I am coming from and why I am entering this subject with so much intention and purpose. I am not coming at it flippantly. If you have followed me in any capacity for the past 20 years, even if you have seen me in person as a client, if you saw me back in Hawaii when I owned my Pilates studios and physical therapy clinics, if you read my blogs back in the day, and then now, if you watch YouTube videos, if you've seen me as a one-on-one client, if you're on Unlimited, you know I don't talk about weight. I don't talk about a number on a scale. We don't do before and after pictures. We don't post our weight. I will never, ever ask your weight as a client, as a physical therapy client. That is not a number that generally matters to me when it comes to your health and your wellness. And I have reasons for that. And it really revolves around what our culture and society has told us about our weight and what we hold important. So it matters to me that I pass on the message to you that your health truly is more about how you feel in your body, about your strength, about staying functional and independent as we age, about feeling agency in your own body, about being able to make health choices, all of that. And with me and my personal health history, I have lived that. Like I have gone through transitions realizing that my health goals can't be attached to a number on a scale because they need to be bigger. They need to be, how can I move in this body ravaged with endometriosis? How can I rehabilitate myself after double mastectomy? So I've been through that journey. Also, I am a woman living in this culture. I am a woman in a body, constantly being given the messages that you are as well, that the number on the scale matters, that so much about our health is wrapped around aesthetics. And so I always have both sides of that in my mind, as I'm sure you do also. So that's why I come at this kind of with a lot of intention, is with all of that in mind. Also, I really am aware and I want to validate the fact that weight loss is a true goal for many women out there. And especially as we age and our bodies change, and that weight gain can come on that we don't expect, or we suddenly feel like we're in a body that's not our own, that brings a lot with it. And that is a valid goal. And so it really is important to me that I come to you today with a message of science and facts. And yes, let's talk about this. And also from a place of, I do want to honor the fact that this is an important goal for you, or it might be an important goal for you. And there is no shame in that. I, interestingly enough, get quite a few messages and see it in our unlimited community as well. Women saying, I am almost embarrassed to talk about this. I'm a little bit of ashamed. Or they say, I know this isn't important in the grand scheme of things, but I have questions about weight loss. And that makes me realize that maybe I haven't done a good job of telling you that I am here to support you no matter what your goals are. And if weight loss is a goal for you, there's nothing to be ashamed about with that. Absolutely nothing. That is, again, to be validated. You should be heard and you should be given information to help you reach that goal. And that's why I want to talk about this today, because there's a lot of information out there that really just leads us as women to feeling even more caught in that spiral of, okay, I want to lose weight, so I need to eat less and I need to work out more. And then I didn't do what I should have done, or I didn't get the results I wanted. So I must have been lazy. I must have done something wrong. I guess I just need to punish myself more. Like, we get caught in that spiral. And that, I think, ultimately is the thing I have the problem with, is how we approach this for women. We are not giving women the real tools that they need to feel empowered in their body and possibly add weight loss as a real goal and an achievable goal. So, all of that to say, we are talking today about weight loss, especially as aging women. We're going to talk about why weight gain happens, because that's really important to understand physiologically why, because there are reasons it happens, especially in midlife and beyond. There are real reasons it happens. So we're going to talk about that. And then I will give you real tools and steps to take if weight loss is a goal. And these are things that you can implement in your own life that, again, will make you feel empowered, that will actually help and will keep you, like, it is a part of hopefully the habits you're building, just being right here in the Jessica Valant community. Those habits of, again, strength, feeling safe in your body, feeling empowered, being able to make choices for yourself. I want this to just fit in as a piece to that. And weight loss and understanding why weight gain might happen, um, all of that, it is a piece to that puzzle. It's one of many, many, many pieces. And I think just the problem is, again, as women in this society, in the world, we feel from an early age that weight is the biggest piece to the puzzle, that it is the one that holds the most weight and the most importance, that our eye always needs to be on that prize. The prize is the number on the scale. The prize is the size of jeans we can fit in. And if we can do that, we have won the health lottery. We are put on a pedestal by society. We see it in images all day long, that the people with the most worth and the most value are the ones that look a certain way. That's where we really get into trouble. And so I want to give you the information that will actually help you reach that goal, but also the nuance and the context to understand this is one small piece of many, 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 many pieces that make up your overall health. It is not the main piece by any way, any means, any way, shape, or form. And we really need to work on taking it off of that pedestal that we have put it on. To put it into context, to understand it is just one part, one piece of the puzzle. So that's my important introduction to this conversation today. All right. So let's get into it. And before I actually jump into it, there is one other piece I want to discuss. I am not talking at all about GLP-1s today or peptides. This is something like new, right? Like it's new and exploding all over the place in the realm of health, wellness, weight loss. It is an important discussion and conversation to have because it is so much a part of our reality now, but I'm not bringing it up today. I do have a short podcast episode about a couple of my thoughts around GLP-1s. I have that if you want to go listen to that. More importantly, I am going to bring you experts. I have a couple podcast interviews already scheduled with experts in that space, with health care professionals in the space of metabolic health, in the space of midlife and aging women, in the space of weight loss, healthcare professionals who will come and talk to us all about it. Like the details of who might be appropriate, who isn't, how it's used in healthcare, what's happening with the big explosion of it right now. So I'm going to bring that to you because I think it's important information to have. I am just not talking about it here today. So keep that in mind. And also know that I think even those experts that I'm going to bring on with you will tell you that everything we talk about today is important, whether you choose to be on one or you're a candidate for a GLP-1 or you are not. These factors we're talking about today are vital to overall health. So again, even if you choose to be on one, even if that is a part of your future, you're going to want all of the strategies we talk about today to support that anyway. So I think it's a really good conversation. What we talk about today will be applicable to everyone out there, but just know I am not bringing up GLP-1s past this place in the podcast today. Just an FYI. All right. So as we move forward, if you have decided that weight loss is a goal for you, or if you have even noticed, like no matter what age you are, but if you have started to notice that maybe some weight coming on that you are not used to, again, your body just feels a little different. Maybe weight is just distributed a little bit differently. Maybe you're just having a harder time losing weight than you used to in the past. Like there's a lot of pieces to this. It doesn't just have to be, I have a weight loss goal of losing 10 pounds. It can have, like I said, a lot of connotation, a lot of nuance to it. No matter where you are in that space, in that journey, I want to validate it. We're going to honor it. It can be a really, really important part of a health journey and your health goals. But there's a couple things we all need to do first before we move forward with kind of reaching that goal or moving into that goal or finding our strategies to reach that goal. One is to know that your health and your worth are not defined by a number on a scale. Now, please don't turn me off after hearing me say that. Don't fast forward. Don't pause. Don't skip. Don't roll your eyes just because you've heard this before. I want you to really, really pause and say, yeah, I've heard it before. Okay, Jessica, I know I'm worthy. I'm valuable, blah, blah, blah. I want you to really, really pause and make sure that you know that, like deep, deep down, that you know that your health and your value are not determined by a number on a scale. I think all of us, me included, I have done so much work, you guys, like so much work over the years. And I know still to this day, there are times I have to stop my thoughts and say, whoa, no, we're not going there. Like that's not a path we go down anymore. Right? Like when I think about weight or I've gained some weight or I don't fit into clothes or I don't look the same in the mirror as I used to. I still have to stop my thoughts very purposefully and bring them back. So that's why I say I'm not saying this flippantly. I am saying pause for a moment and make sure that you do know that. Like that you do know that yes, weight can be an important part of health. It is not the main part and it is not the part that makes you valuable and that makes you worthy. Okay. All of that too is wrapped up in, gosh, so many things. Like, this has really been in front of mind lately as I have a preteen daughter. And her body is changing as it should. She's going through puberty. She's preteen. Her body's changing constantly. So we were doing some spring shopping. And so I'm in the dressing room with her. She's trying on things, trying to decide what feels good, what doesn't, what fits now, what doesn't, as she's constantly changing. And she is like, I can see it on her face when something feels like it fits, when something doesn't. She is tall. My husband is 6'6". So I bring the average down. You guys, I am very short. My husband's 6'6", and our beautiful kids have his height. And so she's tall. And so she's always been one of the tallest in her grade. And I see how she sees that. Like, luckily, she's very proud of it, but also clothes are going to fit differently on her. And so she's learning too. She couldn't fit into a certain size of shorts in one store. And I saw how she kind of thought, oh, but should I be able to fit into those smaller ones? Like, maybe I should. That word should, right? For my age, or my friends can, or this. And so I just stopped that in its tracks. We had to talk about it. And then we went to the next store. And she could fit into the smaller size. So we got to have a big talk about how stores are completely crazy. And you're going to fit into one thing here and not in the next place. And then you're not going to know what size you are. And so you're going to think that you gained weight when really you haven't. It's just you're at a different store, sizing things differently. Like, things, us trying on clothes and trying to figure out our size alone can make us bonkers. So you have to inherently, like deep down, have that foundation place that you return to, that you know that it does not affect your worth or your value as a person. All right. Like, you have to have that, because the world will throw all these messages at us constantly, telling us otherwise. So that's one thing I want you to constantly come back to. All right. Number 2, don't have a random weight goal or weight number in mind that you're trying to reach. This can really set us off course. And all of us do it because we want to set a goal that's reachable and achievable and objective. Like, that's what we're told to do, right? I want to be able to lift 10 pounds overhead for 8 reps. Like, that's a measurable goal. We're told to do that. So we decide that about our weight too. I want to get down to 120 pounds. I want to get to 125 pounds, whatever it is. Like, but you probably have a number in mind. I want you to make sure that number is like, you've chosen it for a reason. And it's not just either a random number that you kind of have in mind, right? Maybe you've had it in mind for 30 years, so it's still in your mind. Or it's a number that you weighed 10 years ago, 20 years ago, and you are still trying desperately to get back. This sets us up for failure. And not because I'm saying you can't do it. It's not because of that. It's because our bodies are meant to change. If I decided, like, I had a number, a weight that I could maintain, and I'm sure I'll remember this number till the day I die, because that's how much we attach ourselves to these numbers. I had a number that I had decided all through my 20s and, gosh, really, like, probably most of my 30s, honestly, until I got pregnant the second time. I feel like I'm almost kind of ashamed to say that, but yeah, probably through my 20s and most of my 30s. There was a number on the scale. I had 2 numbers in my head. One was the number that if I stepped on it, I was like, that's probably about where I am most of the time. Like, the average number that was probably pretty comfortable for my body. But then I had the second number, and the second number was just a little bit lower. Okay. It wasn't much. It's just a little bit lower, but it was enough that I'm like, ooh, I've hit that number. Like, that was success in my brain because it was just a little bit lower. And guys, I really had to, like, eat a significantly lower amount, work out more. Like, I had to do some work to hit that number. But when I did it, I felt like I had achieved something. Luckily, it was not a number that put me into any kind of ill health. My health was still number one priority. So I was still eating. Like I said, I've done work for a really long time. But looking back, I know I had that number. Like it was just enough lower, right? And I'm like, oh yeah, that's it. There is no way. Like I don't know the last time I hit that number. Like I said, it was probably before my second child. And then I had our second baby. I nursed for a long time. I had a hysterectomy. Um, I'm in perimenopause. I've had breast cancer. I've had a double mastectomy. I mean, this is almost 10 years ago. I and if I don't even know what I would have to do to hit that number on the scale. I really don't. And yet, each time I go to the doctor's office and they weigh me, that number pops up in the back of my head. And I can still quiet it, but it does. It still pops up like, hey, remember when you could hit this? What if we tried that again? Should we just try that again? What if you just you just need to eat a little less? You just need to work out more. Maybe just sleep less because you don't really have time to work out more right now and you don't want to lose time with the kids. So you should probably just sleep less. And I bet you could hit your alarm earlier and maybe you are just lazy. Do you hear that? Do you hear that narrative? That is the work I do to stop that narrative in its tracks, which I can do much easier now, which I can do. But that number is still there. And what I'm saying to you is that is such a random number. There's nothing out there saying that that's a healthy number for me or a good number for me. And like I said, I don't even know the kind of starving I would have to do myself or working out to get that number. And even then, I'm perimenopause now. Like my body's changing. Even then, I don't think I could hit that number, but I would drag myself to the ground trying if I really wanted to. So what I'm saying is pick a number that makes sense for you now. Like in the body you have, in the life you have, in the lifestyle choices you make now, in your health now, in who you're taking care of now, in your age now, all of those things. Pick a number now that, yes, is achievable, but also is real for you. That's what I want. Make sure it's just not some random number on the scale from 20 years ago or because your friend Lucy down the street did it. It's for you because we are all different. We are all absolutely different and our bodies are different. And don't let anyone tell you otherwise. It is just true. It's 100% true. All right. We are different heights. That alone is going to change what our goal weight should be and a healthy weight should be. We are different. We live different places in the world. We have different cultural norms. We have different genetics. We have so many different things that change what a healthy weight and a good, I don't want to say good size. That's such a bad way to say it, but I just mean like a good place to be. That's how I think of it. Like my body right now is in a good place for it to be, where I feel strong and I feel nourished and I can sleep and I have the reserves I need and I can enjoy food and I'm lifting stronger than I ever have before. My body feels like it's in a good place. And if I were to try to reach that lower number on the scale, I would get out of that place. Like my body would feel it and it might try to keep up and it would try to do that for me, but it wouldn't be the right place for me. So those are the two things. As we move forward, please remember those things. Your worth, your value is not the number on the scale. So let go of that. We're saying goodbye. Bye-bye to that. Number two, if you like to have specific goals, make sure it's one that works for you now. And you can do small at a time. Like I recommend just 5 pounds, 5 pounds at a time. See how that feels. See where you're at. See if those strategies worked for you. Then reassess 5 more if that's your goal. So 5 pounds at a time is a really nice place to be. For maintenance and long term, many people will generally say a pound a week, like losing a pound a week can be maintained. I do not have the science behind that to tell you. So you can take that with a grain of salt. My point with that is simply these like, oh my gosh, lose 3 pounds overnight kind of thing, or lose 10 pounds in a week. Oh no. Like again, that's marketing messages that are going to set us up to fail. Long term, this is long term. You're in it to win it. If you are doing this, let's do it, right? And so it is okay to have more long term goals. It feels like you want to do it all at once, but for it to really last, for you to really see success, have that foundation in place, have your mindset right, pick a goal that really works for you, and then in it for at least 3 months to start, and then assess from there. So you have to do, again, that healthy, empowered work so that you have that kind of partnership with your body, and you're not going into it thinking, I'm going to punish my body. I'm going to beat this weight out of it. I'm going to fit my circle body into this square hole and beat my head against the wall till it works. That is not going to get us where we want to go. So it's not going to help us reach our goals, but also it's just not going to help us long term in that relationship with our body. All right. Okay. Next, we're talking about why this happens. Absolutely why. Like why, especially in midlife. That's the piece I'm talking about here. And these strategies will be implemented for anyone, okay, no matter what age you are. These are really important strategies to have in place that we're talking about today and will help. But I do want to get into specifically kind of midlife, why we start gaining weight without doing anything different. That's the most common thing I hear. I haven't changed my diet. I haven't changed my exercise. I haven't changed anything. And yet either I can't lose the weight or I've gained these 5 pounds around the middle. My body feels different. My body looks different. I don't seem to be able to do anything about it. This is why decreased estrogen. We are losing estrogen through midlife, in perimenopause, up until the menopausal transition. Our estrogen is decreasing, right? When we lose estrogen, some things happen because estrogen plays a very important role in our weight. One is it plays an important role for our metabolic health. So our metabolic health is the ability of our body to efficiently process nutrients from food, stabilize our blood sugar, and other bodily functions. When your metabolic health starts to fail, you're at a higher risk of metabolic syndrome, those kind of things. So with metabolic syndrome, it is something you would be diagnosed with. It can include heart disease, inflammation, and weight gain. All right. So, one thing that happens is our estrogen really helps support what's called our metabolic health. When estrogen goes down, our metabolic health can change. I am not saying that it does. I am saying that it can change. Our ability to process nutrients like it used to, those kind of things, we stabilize our blood sugar, it becomes less efficient. All right. So that's one thing to know is our metabolic health is affected by decreased estrogen, and think of it as just not being as efficient as it was before. So that means you can eat the exact same things, and how your body processes that is going to be a little bit different as you age because of metabolic health. Number 2, same kind of idea, but estrogen helps your body use glucose effectively. So as you lose estrogen, your body becomes less efficient at producing insulin, which we need in order to deal with the glucose in our bodies. So when we eat, our body produces insulin. That insulin helps deal with the glucose. It helps put it where it needs to go into all the cells. So whether it goes into muscles or whether it goes into fat, and then we can use that energy later on, the energy from food. So as our estrogen decreases, we become less effective and less efficient at using that glucose. So we can become insulin resistant, and we end up needing more insulin to deal with the same levels of glucose. Our estrogen also helps protect our nervous system and our stress response. So with less estrogen, which many of you know, and I absolutely know firsthand, with less estrogen, we can have higher levels of cortisol and stress. Not only that, but in midlife, we're usually experiencing more stress anyway, with either young kids and caretaking for our older parents, or just changes happening in our own health, or empty nest happening, all of those things. So midlife brings a lot of stress anyway. Decreased estrogen, we are less efficient at dealing with that stress, which can then lead to more cravings and emotional eating. All of that from decreased estrogen. Also, I know there's more. Isn't this great? Don't worry, there's things we can do about it. Estrogen, with decreased estrogen, as we age, the fat in our bodies becomes more distributed around our bellies and less in our legs and our thighs. So that is one of the main reasons why we end up many times with those extra pounds that we don't know where it came from, distributed around our bellies. And again, that is why. That's where we end up distributing it as we age. It just is. Our body has an amazing way of doing things, and that's one thing it chooses to do. So decreased estrogen is what leads to that change in fat distribution. So all of those things, the decreased estrogen and how because of that, because of decreased estrogen, we are less efficient with the glucose that we consume. The fat gets distributed more easily in our belly. We have a less efficient and lower stress response. Our nervous system is less regulated. We have a less efficient metabolic health system happening. All of those things will lead to weight gain. And again, I am not saying in everyone because we are all different. We are all different. So please know that if you are gaining more weight in midlife than your neighbor or your friend, it doesn't mean you are doing anything wrong. It means we are different. Our bodies are different, which is why I love to give you knowledge so that you can start to apply it to your own body and make the choices that are best for you and ask the questions that are right for you. But yes, all of us as women will lose estrogen as we age, and estrogen will have an effect in this way. And this is the most, like I said, the most common thing I hear is I've been doing the exact same thing, haven't changed anything, and I'm gaining weight and it doesn't come off like it used to. And I keep exercising harder and I just don't know what to do. This stubborn weight won't go away. And now I don't feel comfortable in my own skin anymore. I don't feel comfortable in my body. My clothes don't fit the way they used to. And it just feeds on itself. So you're maybe sitting there saying, I do believe in my value, Jessica. I do believe in my worth. I have done that work too. But now this body that I have worked so hard to know and be a partner with, as you've told me to, is suddenly a stranger to me. Yes, I'm going to hold your hand through that, and I get it. Absolutely. That is why this work really demands that we wake up every day and do it again. We're going to wake up every day and say, today I'm going to be a partner with my body. Wherever it is, I'm going to meet my body where it is today because it's going to be a little different than yesterday. And tomorrow it might be a little different again. But your body is who you have with you throughout the extent of your life, the day you were born until the day that you die. You have your body with you. And so it is required sometimes to meet it every single day and say, what do we have today? All right, what changes do we have today? And then you come up with new strategies for now this season of life. And you trust that all the strategies you've built in the past will also serve you now. You don't throw them away. You don't throw them in the dumpster. You don't change your entire workout life or strategy now. We're just going to implement a few new things to help support this season of life while also continuing to be a partner with our body. So we're going to get into those tips and strategies I have. But first, a quick word from our sponsor. You guys know I love being outside, and now it is springtime in Colorado, and we have somehow had the least amount of snow we have ever had for a winter. While I love the sun, we are also under a lot of fire danger right now. So between that and then all the springtime blooms happening and then the germs that the kids bring home from school, we are very aware of our air quality, especially in our house. We recently got an Air Doctor air purifier and I love having it. Air Doctor is the best of the best when it comes to air purifiers. It eliminates 99.99% of dangerous contaminants like allergens, viruses, smoke, gases, mold spores, and more. So basically, if you live anywhere with pollution, smog, wildfire smoke, or those kiddo germs, you should invest in an air purifier, even if you cook inside regularly. Like the amount of smells that come out of my kitchen when I'm cooking, the air purifier takes care of it. It was even voted best air purifier by Newsweek. So it's no surprise that 98% of Air Doctor customers agree their home's air feels cleaner, safer, and healthier. Head to airdoctorpro.com and use promo code MEETYOURBODY to get up to $300 off today. Air Doctor comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee plus a 3-year warranty. That's an $84 value free. Get this exclusive podcast-only offer now at airdoctorpro.com. That's airdoctorpro.com using promo code MEETYOURBODY. Now back to our show. All right, we have tips. We do have strategies. I know I told you everything that you need for the foundation of your mindset, going into this with the right mindset so that you can be successful. Like that is why, because I want you to be successful. And these quick fix hit marketing messages out there that are everywhere, especially now it is spring, right? So what are we being told? Bikini body. Get your bikini body in 4 weeks, which by the way, if you have a body, then you have a bikini body. You can wear whatever you want. All right. So I should just throw that out there. You can wear whatever you want, whenever you want. But these quick fix ideas just really do set us up to feel more like defeated around our weight because we think, oh, this is something I can do. They say everyone can do this and they say I'll get the results. So I'm going to do it and I'll buy the program and I'm going to follow it to a T. But then what happens is you don't have these other foundation pieces in play. You don't have other strategies to lift you up. There's not context around the fact that we are all different. You might lose weight quickly. You might not. You end up afterwards either putting the weight back on or you didn't end up losing it to start with. And you end up feeling bad and feeling like maybe there was something wrong with you because you didn't reach the goals they promised you. And then you fall back into the same patterns. That is why we are talking about this. So not only you have real strategies and tips that actually will help, but that you have that partnership with your body and that strong foundation you can keep falling back on, right? All right. So the number one thing that you need when we're talking about strategies now for weight loss, the number one thing you need to address is your nervous system. Again, don't turn me off, okay? Stay with me. If you put these into place, I promise they can help. But yes, they take a little work. This is why we like the quick fixes in the programs because we don't want to take the time to look at our nervous system and our stress levels and our cortisol. But I am telling you, it's an absolute fact. Your body needs you to decrease your stress and to nourish your nervous system. And I'm just going to do a quick overview of that here. But if you realize, oh shoot, she's calling me out, I have got to work on this. I have an entire podcast just about nervous system nourishment. So I'll have that link below. You have got to nourish your nervous system. Your nervous system is, and it's the HPA axis. If you want to go look that up, you can. Again, I talk about it in that other podcast, though. Your HPA axis is one of the most important systems in your body, and it has a lot to do with your hormones and what's released in your body, and that includes cortisol and what's going on with your nervous system. And as I mentioned already, as we have decreased estrogen, our nervous systems are less regulated. We either get more stressed with less things happen to us, or once we are stressed, it's harder to come back to baseline. So that means it's even more important to regulate your nervous system because when it's not regulated and your cortisol is all over the place, it is harder to lose weight. It is absolutely harder to lose weight. So by nourishing your nervous system, there are many things within that, but think of things like, are you getting a few minutes of rest during the day? Like let's say between really stressful phone calls or work meetings, can you remove yourself for 5 minutes and stare out the window? Can you go for a 10-minute walk after meals? Can you take a few deep breaths when you're in the car or you're in the doctor's waiting room? So are you taking little moments like that? Are you getting sleep? Are you sleeping? Are you drinking water? Are you doing anything to help kind of your lymphatic system? That might mean deep breathing throughout the day. That might mean a little bit of self-massage. There are so many ways to nourish your nervous system, and it needs to be the number one priority. Now, I'm not saying jump into all of that at once, but just take stock before you kind of decide on that number that you think you want, before you really put in all of those tips into play about how you're going to work out. Make sure you take a moment and have a couple strategies on how you can be nourishing your nervous system. It has to be the number one priority. And what happens and I'm not saying this just out of self-care. All right. I mean, that's important. I am saying this truly, again, physiologically. If you don't nourish your nervous system and get your nervous system to a regulated state, you will not be able to let go of that weight. Like your body won't. I'm not saying it's not a mental state. Your body will not be able to let go of some of that weight it's hanging on to until it feels safe and regulated. And it has to do with those hormones and estrogen and cortisol all of the things happening. Your body needs to feel like it is in a nourished, regulated state. And the thing is, let me just tell you what happens with this. Because we need that physiologically and we don't tend to focus on it, what do we do instead when we get upset about weight gain? We punish ourselves. More cardio, more workouts, less food, strict diets, stress about eating windows and when I can eat here and measuring macros and all of those things. Like we add all of that onto an already stressed system. And then we wonder why it doesn't work. And then we get more stressed and more mad at ourselves. So think nervous system. Okay. Think nervous system management and regulation. It is extremely important when it comes to losing weight. It is absolutely vital. Again, I am not saying it simply as like a nice side thing you can work on. I'm not saying it just for self-care. I am saying it physiologically. You've got to get the nervous system regulated if you want to lose weight. And no, we didn't have to do that in our early 20s. If you're thinking to yourself, well, I didn't have to do it back then. Me neither. In my early 20s or mid 20s, when I had that number, like I told you, that random number on the scale that I would sometimes say, oh, I want to get back down to that. Yeah, I could do it pretty quickly. Like I could do it within a week if I had an event or something, and I could eat a little less or change my diet and add a couple workouts. And yeah, it sure worked. It sure did. And I wasn't sleeping much. And I was out with my friends drinking. Our bodies change. Our bodies change. Please don't ask your body to do that again. I'm not like, it wasn't healthy then, but it worked. And it's definitely not going to be healthy now. And it's not going to work. And it's not going to feel good. Like, I don't want to be that again. I don't want to do that again. But I'm also going to acknowledge, yeah, we used to be able to. And I'm going to acknowledge that, no, I can't now. Okay. All right. So number 1 is nervous system nourishment. Number 2 is sleep. You have to sleep. And yeah, I'm the same. I laugh at that sometimes. I mean, I've got two, I have an elementary age kid. I'm a middle-aged kid. And it's so funny thinking, I think back to like newborn stage. People say, oh, you'll sleep after they're past newborn. I just have decided you never sleep again. Possibly when you have kids. Maybe you do. I don't know. I don't always. But we've had some sick kids, and there's nightmares or again, perimenopause. I wake up and think of all the to-dos that I have. Or last night I was up way too late working, but it needed to be done. I get it. All right. Sleep is tough. And also, you guys know, and I'm going to have podcasts for this below too. For 2 years, I have really prioritized my sleep. Like I finally realized I was burning the candle at too many ends. Nothing good was coming from it. I really prioritized sleep, and it is one of my top priorities now, and it has made a big difference. It's made a big difference for my stress. It's made a big difference for my hair, actually, like my hair thinning. It's better. It's made a big difference for my workouts. So sleep is very important. And yes, we can laugh about it. And yes, there will be nights you don't get any. I haven't for about 2 weeks now between sick kiddos, being up in the middle of the night. And like I said, some extra work that's come up. But there's an end in sight. Like it's still my priority. And I will absolutely keep it as a priority. I'm not keeping that habit. And that makes a difference. So don't get upset when those nights come here and there, because they do, or you won't sleep. But make sure overall you are making it a priority. Good, nourishing sleep will help your hormones. It helps cortisol and stress go down. It's one of the best ways. So when we talk about regulating your nervous system, getting a good amount of sleep is really important. And then it also helps decrease cravings. And that's, again, it's just a scientific fact. So if you find you're having a hard time with that, absolutely. If we are lacking sleep, our body's going to crave that sugar high throughout the day. I mean, I can tell you right now, I really did not get much sleep last night at all. And I know that for a fact. I will want whatever quick hits will give me energy today. So instead, trying to drink a lot of water. I'm going to get my protein. I'm going to get outside in the sun to help wake me up. So just having awareness of that is really important. And yes, make sleep a priority. It will help. It absolutely will help with weight loss. All right, working out. Yes, you knew we were going to get to it. And I think it's just really important to know working out and eating, like in the messaging, again, in general health and wellness, those are the only 2 things that are talked about. That's it. Eating and working out. Eat less, work out more. Eat less, work out more. Like that is all we think of. Oh my goodness. Hopefully now you know there's so many more pieces to it. So many more pieces to it. And working out is a big piece. Absolutely. When you move your body, you burn calories. But not only that, when you move your body, you are nourishing your nervous system. You are helping with your cortisol and stress hormones come down. You are helping with your endorphins. So you're automatically going to feel better. You're helping yourself feel strong in your body and empowered in your body. You're helping your dementia risk. You're helping osteoporosis. You're doing so many things to help yourself when you move your body. So having a movement practice is extremely important. I'm going to have a link to this below too. I'm telling you, I always need to take notes on what links I need to give you guys below from what we talk about. But I will talk about like an exercise plan below and the best exercises to incorporate if this is brand new to you. But this is what I want you to hear just today in this podcast. Yes, you want to move your body. And there's a couple important pieces, really important pieces for weight loss, especially as we age. One is lifting weights. Yes, you have to do it. You have to do it for your body, for your bones, for everything. You need to be lifting weights. This is the important thing to know for weight loss. Muscle burns more calories than fat. That's one thing to know. The more muscle you have, the more calories you will burn at rest. So at rest, just sitting here, me talking to you, I will burn more calories the more muscles I have, the more muscle mass I have. And we lose muscle mass as we age. So we want to do everything we can to keep it. So lift weights 2 times a week minimum. 3 times a week is better. Again, I'm going to have a podcast below telling you more about how to do that in detail. Okay. Lift weights. It is vital. It's imperative. You have to do it. No ifs, ands, or buts. Even if you have injuries, I promise there are ways to lift weights. The other thing to really keep in mind, and this, I already had a pretty good weight lifting routine when I started perimenopause, and when the weight came on for me, then I thought, wow, that's kind of new. Huh. I haven't dealt with that before. Like just, or like I said, oh, that's not coming off and I'm doing the same thing. So I had that, just those 5 pounds came on. And one of the best things I did that I added, because like I said, I already had a weightlifting routine in place. I added more walking. I didn't run more. I didn't do crazy cardio. I didn't do any of that. I added when it comes to adding, sorry. I didn't add more to what I was already doing. I added more walking. I told myself I was going to walk 10,000 steps a day. That made a huge difference. And yes, it is added time. Like I had to carve it out of my schedule. That's not always easy, but I would do it in bits and pieces throughout the day. I would take the kids. I started walking after meals for 10 minutes with the kids. Do you know walking for 10 minutes after you eat is one of the best ways to regulate your blood sugar? If you can do nothing else during the day, walk for 10 minutes after your meals. One of the best ways to regulate your blood sugar right there. So adding extra walking helped me a lot. And that is incorporated for me kind of with another thing, which is called NEAT activity. That's non-exercise activity thermogenesis. What that means is it's the movement that you do throughout the day that's not dedicated or scheduled exercise. So it is cooking, standing and cooking. It's doing your housework, climbing stairs, doing yard work, playing with your kids, getting on and off the floor, playing with your grandkids, walking from your car to the grocery store. All of those things, we become more sedentary as we age. We need more regular activity, not just workouts, but also regular activity to keep our metabolic health high and keep our body burning those calories during the day. So for me, it was adding walking, but any kind of that NEAT activity can really, really help. Meaning again, stay moving, keep your body moving, do things throughout the day, meet friends for a walk, park farther away. I know we've heard it forever, but it's true. It makes a difference. Do those small walks after you eat and lift your weights. Next, look at your food choices. I am not here to overhaul your diet. I do have a really great podcast with our nutritionist, Marita Radloff, and she's fantastic. And we do talk about food choices, so you can go back and reference that. But for me, it's been really important to look at overall my food choices and make sure, am I hitting those big macros I need? Am I hitting my protein levels? Like upwards of 100 grams a day. That is hard for me. Am I hitting those? Am I choosing foods just out of habit? or because I'm tired. Like I said, I know what I kind of want to choose today, but is that going to actually nourish my body? Changing your mindset around what foods you choose. Again, it's not, if I eat that, those sayings, a moment on the lips, a lifetime on the hips. Like, don't villainize food. Take that out of the equation. Reframe that, because there's nothing wrong with eating for pleasure. There's nothing wrong with celebrating with people you love and having birthday cake and making homemade Christmas cookies. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. That should be a part of pleasure and nervous system regulation and a part of our lives of joy. Like, it should be. But what I tell people is, can you reframe it when you are looking at two things to choose from and just ask yourself, what is the best way I can nourish myself right now? Is it choosing that piece of birthday cake, which, by the way, sometimes it is. Sometimes it is. Or can I nourish my nervous system and nourish myself by choosing this instead? And some of that is just even eating. Like, are you running out the door and are you thinking about skipping breakfast? Skipping breakfast is not the best thing that you can do for your health or your weight. So if you're thinking about skipping breakfast, ask yourself, okay, how am I going to feel nourished right now on this really busy, crazy morning where I haven't had a lot of sleep? Is it just going straight to coffee, or is it having these 2 hard-boiled eggs that I thought to make yesterday with a piece of cheese and some fruit, and then having my coffee? That is what I tend to do. And that has helped me a lot as, again, a woman in this culture and society who we have been taught to villainize food and then to feel guilty when we don't choose the right food. I'm putting that in air quotes, the right food. How can you choose foods that are nourishing yourself? And how can you convince yourself you need to eat and that food is good, food is fuel, but that we want it in a nourishing state? We want the right amount of protein. We need fiber. Are you getting your fiber? Are you drinking water? Are you staying hydrated? Those things are hugely important for weight loss. They're also hugely important for constipation, which is really important for weight loss. You need to have regular bowel movements. Are you eating all the colors of the rainbow? Are you including leafy greens and vegetables on your plate? What's your relationship with alcohol? Again, I am not here to pass any judgment on that whatsoever, except to say that alcohol, again, if you're looking at it just out of a habit, if you are having it every single night out of habit and not because it's nourishing your nervous system, maybe look at that, because it will affect our system. It absolutely will. And it can affect our cortisol and how we sleep and our nervous system and all of those things that we need to maintain. And I am in the process too of looking at that. How does alcohol fit in to this health that I want right now and in feeling my best? So that is how I encourage you to start to look at food. Again, get the right amount of protein, drink water, get the right amount of fiber, lots of leafy greens, lots of colors on your plate. Look at all of those. Don't skip breakfast. Make sure it's a nourishing breakfast for yourself. Look at eating late. Like, if you can possibly not eat late right before bed, that's going to help your sleep, which makes a really big difference. So there's a lot of habits you can look at within that. So take away that mindset of certain foods being bad and certain foods being good. Take away the mindset of punishing yourself by just cutting calories, and instead start with that idea of nourishing yourself with food. What habits could you possibly, what habits are there that have just become habits that aren't serving you anymore? What are some ways you can possibly meal prep to help set yourself up for success? And then if this is something you want to dive into, reach out to a registered dietitian or a nutritionist to really help. Again, I'll have some links for you for that below. And then the final tip that I have, like in the strategy piece for losing weight, is, again, if you're in that perimenopause place or the menopausal transition, and you have put all these other things into place and you have really tried them for a while and you still don't feel like they are making a difference for you, see a specialist and ask about getting your hormones tested. Ask about a hormone panel or check into HRT. I am saying this because it's just another piece to the puzzle. It can be another spoke on the wheel to explore. And there can be so many pieces to this, but for some people, it can make a really big difference if you are just not at the levels that are optimal for you and your body, because we all are different. So that would be another thing just to keep in mind. And I tell a lot of women, like, just put that on the back burner. Like, that's in your back pocket. You pick 3 things that you can really work on now in the next few months. What are 3 things for you? I am guessing it can include workouts, whether that means walking more, making sure you're lifting your weights, or just being consistent, like working out once a week. That's great. I'm glad you're moving your body. It's also not going to make a big difference when it comes to weight loss. Like, if that is your goal, weight loss, strength gain, muscle mass, you've got to be working out more. And I don't mean 2 hours a day. I just mean consistently, like 30 minutes, 5, 6 days a week. So maybe it's just being consistent, or maybe it's adding steps. Maybe it's adding that neat movement. Maybe it's adding weights. So maybe you focus on your workouts. You focus on possibly cutting down on either eating too late or cutting out alcohol, those kind of things. Like, pick one thing around food that you can work on, and then one thing around nervous system. So those are 3 things. You're not doing everything at once. Those are 3 things. And you do that for 3 months. Then see where you're at. You're going to write it down. You're going to really look at it objectively, look at it like a scientist. What did I do? Did I actually stay consistent? Did I not? Did it help? Did it not? Then you can adjust and go forward again. Pick a couple more things to work on. So maybe at that point, like going deeper, maybe I'll see a specialist about HRT. Or maybe it's time I really do some deeper mindset work, because maybe actually this is interesting after 3 months. Maybe I am really attached to that number and I didn't realize I was. Like, those kind of things. This is a journey. All right. I am so thankful to have you here with me on this journey. Thank you for always taking the time to listen. Like, I know this isn't easy. I mean, I've talked to you for almost an hour about this. And I know it's easier to find a quick fix program and someone to just tell you for 5 minutes to eat less, work out more. Like, I know it can feel easier to do that. I also am not going to bring you that because I want more for you. I want something that'll last. And I ultimately want you to be able to make choices for yourself that are best for you, which means you need knowledge. You need some facts, you need some nuance and some context around it. And then I can hand it off to you and say, now go and see what works for you. And then come back and let's have another discussion, right? Like, let's talk about nervous system now, and let's talk about perimenopause symptoms if we need to. And now let's talk about how to lift weights. It's a constant moving forward. It is a journey. And so I appreciate you being here. I honor you being here. Thank you for spending this time with me. Thank you for being here for this subject. And yeah, check out the links below. They'll continue to help put some of these strategies into place. And I will talk to you soon. Thanks so much for listening today. I would love it if you could take a moment to subscribe, rate, and review this podcast. It means a lot to us and it helps our content get out to more women who need it. You can find more of my resources at my website, jessicavalant.com, or find me on YouTube at Jessica Valant and Instagram at Jessica S. Valant.